Numbers stations. Numbers stations.
Where is the number station?
Numbers stations are weird and kind of creepy. Shortwave radio signals that mainly have a constant sound, like a buzzing or humming going on.
0, 9, 7, 5, 9, 7, 5.
Every so often, a voice will speak out some numbers or phrases that make absolutely no sense. Well, to us, they make no sense. These things are primarily used for espionage, and these numbers that get spoken are coded messages. With these codes going out, the person receiving these messages would have a decryption key which allows them to decode whatever message is being sent. And since the signal itself is shortwave, it can travel for thousands of miles and is pretty hard to trace, and even harder to jam the signal. We're going to get into a few of them in a second, but these signals, as I said earlier, also have a constant buzzing or humming. Most people speculate that this constant noise is what's called a dead man's switch. Say this is where the signal is coming from, and it's transmitting different codes and messages to a spy over here in enemy territory. Well, if the enemies destroy where the signal is coming from, and the signal then stops and the operator of the signal is incapacitated, it could trigger a nuclear launch at the enemies who destroyed the radio signal where it was coming from. I know that's what Russia does, by the way.
Блять, Адидас нахуй, Тойота.
But it could also be used to delete servers and data and files and stuff like that. But this is just more speculative and is kind of just a theory.
Welcome to game theory, bitch!
UVB-76. This is one of the more famous ones out there. It's also nicknamed the buzzer because of a constant buzzing noise. But this is a Russian numbers station that has been broadcasting since the late 1970s. On the frequency 4625 kHz, this buzz is constant, and there's this live stream on YouTube that says it's the same signal, but I got a feeling that it's not, as they play English songs, and yeah, that's the kind of stuff Russia would not do. But in the real signal, every so often a Russian voice will start reading messages in Russian, but when they do this, the buzzing stops. So it's probably not a dead man's switch. People have obviously tried to decode the messages, but no such luck as of yet. Hello, this is like post-editing me, whatever, you get it. Turns out this radio signal, the UVB-76, went down for a time during the making of this video. The video was on the back burner for a while, but a drone strike hit the power grid and it went down. It's back up now, but I just wanted to add that because it's interesting. The Lincolnshire Poacher. This one was originally broadcasted from Buckinghamshire in England from the mid-1960s, and the signal moved to Cyprus for some reason, and then stopped completely in 2008. And the signal for this numbers station wasn't constant like UVB-76. That thing went 24/7. The Lincolnshire Poacher was silent for most of the time until the transmission started at certain times because of a schedule, multiple times throughout the day. This thing was on a constant train schedule. The transition went for 45 minutes each and started off with the first few lyrics of the English folk song The Lincolnshire Poacher. Which is where it got its name from. A female voice would then start reading off groups of 5 numbers, which the last 2 numbers in each group were being read at a slightly higher pitch than the previous 3 numbers. and this voice would say up to 200 different groups of numbers, totaling 1,000 numbers throughout each broadcast. This one was believed to be run by the MI6, British intelligence, and we don't know why.
But why?
Like UVB-76, no one has worked out anything or decoded anything, but it was broadcasting out to MI6 agents that were overseas.
39715. 39715.
The Lincolnshire Poacher also had a sister location called Cherry Ripe that started in the 1960s in an American military base on Guam, and then at some point it moved to... what the fuck is this? It moved to Humpty Doo in Australia. But I've been in Australia for 24 years, I've never heard of that place. How strange. Anyway, this one's not very interesting. It operated the exact same way the Lincolnshire Poacher did, with the same schedule and same sort of grouping with numbers and all that. But you may be wondering, well, how do we even know the location of these radio signals? A technique called TDOA, time difference of arrival, is a good method. By using multiple receivers spread around different locations, you can measure the time a signal arrives with each receiver, and each receiver will pick up the signal at varying strengths. Then, with GPS synchronized clocks, they can triangulate the approximate location. How I explained that is a really basic way to put it. It's much more complex than that, but there was also some leaked documents that helped, so that's handy. This is the last one I'm going to go into detail on, and it's probably the weirdest and creepiest that I found. It's called Swedish Rhapsody. This one is known for its unsettling combination of creepy musical sounds and weird high-pitched robotic voices, and was operated by the Polish Ministry of Public Security from the late 1950s up until 1988, when it finally ended. But this was located around the area of Warsaw in Poland, and this thing only stopped because of the fall of communism in Poland and all of that. But this is what it sounded like. The station used a music box to play that creepy melody, which is called Luxembourg Polka by Emily Riesdorf by Emily. We'll just call her Emily. The voice, however, was generated by a Sprack Morse generator. It's this weird machine, I don't know how it works, but whoever was controlling the signal manipulated the machine to sound like an apparent child. I know that's what everything says online. For what reason? We don't know. The name of the signal, Swedish Rhapsody, actually came from a mistake, as people thought the melody playing was the song Swedish Rhapsody 1 by Hugo Alfven. This one is considered one of the longest running number stations to exist, but yeah, after the fall of communism in Poland, the original station ceased all operations. These things are obviously still used today, because for one thing, they're still a good way to communicate secrets across enemy lines, even though they are hard to track. If you find it, there's not much you can really do about it anyway. There's also these other ones out there, like the Gong station. And there's this one I can't find what it sounds like, but it's called The Counting Man, or something like that. I don't know, I thought that would be funny, it sounds funny. Apparently it's just some guy counting for hours on end, but that's enough for now. Just wanted to bring this to your attention. And a lot of other videos on this topic are kind of like really shit. And also, Wendigoon said that he'd do a deep dive on this. I don't know if it was on his Patreon, but he's deleted that. And I don't see it. Where is it? Okay, thanks for watching.
I will be cold in the dirt before I snitch on someone for tax evasion.
Lass mal erst die Ruhe vor dem Stuhl.